So yesterday I put on my community tab. I know it's a dead rumor, but it's an interesting idea. Give me some Kristaps Porzingis trade ideas to react to for a video. So what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? That is what we are going to be doing today. Now, I think Mark Cuban came out and said that rumor wasn't true, but I still think it's an interesting idea. I made a rebuild trading Kristaps on my main channel if you want to take a look at that. But yeah, we're going to be diving into a potential Kristaps Porzingis trade and what it could be looking like in your guys' opinion. So if you guys enjoy these style videos, feel free to drop a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And let me know in the comments with a trade you agree with, what you disagree with. Do you think the Mavericks should trade Kristaps? Do you think they shouldn't trade Kristaps? What I think they should do is entertain offers. I probably wouldn't trade him this year. I would trade him in the offseason. But if you can get, I don't know, a good player on an expiring contract like a Zach LaVine, that's what I did in my rebuild, I think you do it. Or if you could do a sign and trade and get John Collins, just somebody that you know will be on the floor a lot more than KP will be. So Tyler Jackson comes up first when we sort it by, I just do top comments, and his is my favorite. The Mavs get Porzingis and Trey Burke, and the Warriors get Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, Kevon Looney in the 2023 first. I don't think Dallas would want Wiggins. I don't think he's that valuable to them at the moment. So next up we have, I think they would maybe prefer, honestly, Oubre and the Timberwolves first. I don't know, maybe. Rockets get Porzingis. Mavericks get Oladipo Tucker, 2 firsts and a second. So they're basically just maybe throwing in their first from the Nets and the Harden trade. I don't really think Porzingis. Porzingis and Wood would be a very fun front court. But just I don't really think it makes them that much better long term. And I don't really think they should do it. But I think Oladipo does get traded because they don't want to lose him for anything, and I don't think he's coming back in the offseason. Some type of Lowry-Porzingis swap, not sure what else would be involved. I don't know if the Mavericks trade Kristaps for Kyle Lowry, given what their ages are at the moment. I don't think they would give up on KP like that. Kristaps to the Kings, Buddy Hield in the first of the Mavs. No way in hell the Mavs do that. Marvin Bagley. Wait, they are getting Hield as well. I still don't think they do that. Marvin Bagley, one of the worst defensive big men in the NFL. Jeez, I just made a mock draft reaction video. So, in the NBA, and Buddy Hield, not much of a better defender at all either. So, I don't think they do that. Even though they could use Buddy Hield, but not giving up Kristaps. Mavs get Porzingis. Boston gets Smart, Thompson, Aaron Nesmith, and Carson Edwards, or vice versa. Boston gets Porzingis. Mavs get that. I don't think Boston gives up Smart in a trade. Even if it's for KP. Kristaps to the Suns, Cam Johnson, Jalen Smith, and a first to the Mavs. That's interesting because imagine Kristaps, Booker, Chris Paul, and DeAndre Ayton. They might ask, if you could do that, yeah, I would do that if I were the Suns, no doubt about it, because then you're running a Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Kristaps, Ayton starting 5. Oh, that is so good. But I could only see this trade working if Phoenix would probably have to give up Bridges, which they won't, so I don't see that trade happening. Mavericks trade KP, Pelicans trade Steven Adams, Lonzo Ball, and a first-round pick. I don't see the Mavs doing that. For an expiring in Lonzo, for, I believe, an expiring in Adams, and a first, yeah, I don't see them doing that. They would probably want something like Kyra Lewis, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, one of those 2 guys, and maybe more. Mavericks trade KP and 3 first-round picks. Wizards trade Beal. 3 first-round picks would be tough, but maybe Washington would think about that. Maybe Josh Green, 2 firsts, and KP for Beal. I would probably do that if I were Dallas, to be honest with you. Would I do that if I were Washington? Probably not. That's if you want a kind of a cornerstone player in return for Bradley Beal, and I don't think that's Kristaps or Josh Green at all. I remember tweeting in at the end of 2018, that the LA Lakers should trade Brandon Ingram for Bradley Beal, and that's when LeBron was on the team, but he was kind of dealing with an injury, and maybe the Wizards, in hindsight, should have taken that. They should have taken that, because I don't know if they'll get as good of a player like that in return, unless they end up getting Tyler Hero, but I'd prefer Ingram over Hero. Next up, we have kind of Celtics trade again. Yeah, I just don't see them trading Smart. Heat get Porzingis. Mavs get Olynyk, Precious Achiuwa, Nunn, Leonard, and maybe a first. You probably have to throw in a first. I don't think Precious is that valuable, so that's why I don't really think that gets it done. It's really hard to assess Porzingis' value because what he's his production, his age, and what he can do on the floor. You would probably have to give up multiple young players and picks. But the fact that he has a pretty big contract and he can't stay on the floor, he can't stay healthy, definitely diminishes value, but by how much? Don't know. Mavs get Kyle Lowry. Whoa. We got a 3-teamer here. This is interesting. Mavs get Kyle Lowry, Miles Turner, Karis LeVert, Matt Thomas. Okay. Pacers get Porzingis, James Johnson, Bembry, and 2 seconds. Yeah, I don't think they're giving up LeVert and Turner and TJ Warren for seconds. So yeah, this trade is not happening, Mateo. The Pacers are getting robbed in this deal. Samuel Paredes, Kristaps to the Wolves, Naz Reid, Beasley, and a first to Dallas. They probably would like Malik Beasley. Maybe they just want Jared Culver. Like, I don't think Minnesota would throw in Anthony Edwards. I mean, if they had their first round pick this year, it would be interesting because they don't know if they could trade their next year's first. They have to wait till after the lottery to figure that out. I would love to see Porzingis and Cat. I really would, but yeah, they would have to probably do Beasley, Culver, and probably a valuable first. And maybe if the Mavericks think Beasley's for real, Warriors get Kristaps, Wiggins on a future first. I mean, maybe if it's the Timberwolves first, I just don't know if the Mavericks really want Wiggins. But maybe I'm overvaluing KP. Maybe you guys got to let me know if I'm overvaluing him. Yeah, we already talked about Raptors Lowry. We already talked about a Warriors. Porzingis for Blake Griffin and an unprotected 2021 first and Dennis Smith Jr. I don't think Dallas would do that, even if that. And I don't even think the Pistons would do that either. Draymond Green for Kristaps. Yeah, that would not happen. Porzingis for Kemba Walker, Romeo Langford, and a 2024 first. They probably would want. I don't know what else. Sorry if you heard something happen upstairs in my apartment, but yeah, I don't think. I mean, that is an interesting deal. It is, but I just don't think. I don't think either team would accept it. I don't. Mavericks get Cody Zeller, Miles Bridges. Ooh, I do like a Hornets trade, but the Mavericks are getting Zeller, Bridges, Graham, and a first. I think they would want Rozier. Instead of Graham. So, and maybe not the first. Like, if you're giving up Rozier, Bridges, and Zeller, you'd have to think about that if you're the Pelicans. Excuse me, why did I say the Pelicans? Where did I get the Pelicans from there? You have to think about it if you're the Mavericks. Because then, I mean, for the Hornets, you could roll out a LaMelo Ball, Devontae Graham if he stays. Like, you throw Rozier instead of him in this trade. Devontae Graham, Gordon Hayward, Washington KP starting 5. That is fun. That definitely is fun. And then if you're the Mavericks, you roll out what, like Luka, Hardaway, Josh Richardson, Rozier. Oh geez. Yeah, they would probably need a big in return. Maybe they would ask for instead of Cody Zeller, PJ Washington. Like, no first, maybe Rozier, Bridges, and Washington. But that's probably too much. So it is an interesting idea getting KP to Charlotte because I think they're in kind of the mood to make a big splash to add to their duo of Gordon Hayward and LaMelo. And they'd probably like to keep Rozier. It's just, well, they have to include Rozier in a trade. We have a Pelicans one, JJ Redick, Bledsoe, and some picks. I mean, they do have a lot of picks from the AD trade, but probably not anything that the Mavericks would want in there. Portland gets Porzingis. Mavs get Covington, Derrick Jones Jr., Ennis Cantor, Simons, and 2 first-round picks. Okay, the 2 first-round picks is a lot. Dallas might want Gary Trent, but I think Dallas would also love Robert Covington. Would you do Yusuf Nurkic and Covington for Porzingis? Probably not. Probably not if you're Portland. Would you do Yusuf Nurkic and Derrick Jones Jr. for KP? That's an interesting idea. That is an interesting idea, but maybe they prefer Nurkic because he stays healthy more. But I don't know if that's really the case because Nurkic, I mean, I think his are more like fluke accidents than KP's are actually his body and how it reacts to playing 35 minutes a night, 30 minutes a night. But that is a Nurkic for KP swap is kind of intriguing, but I don't know if Dallas would even pull the trigger on that. Hawks get Porzingis, Mavs get Snell, Bogdanovic, and 2 first. Yeah, the Mavericks would not accept that. We already kind of talked about a Warriors one, but here's a 3-teamer. Warriors get Tim Hardaway Jr., Kristaps, Brandon Goodwin for a player filler. Mavericks get John Collins and Kelly Oubre. Hawks get Looney, Draymond in a second. Yeah, the Hawks would not accept that trade. We have a Nuggets one. Gary Harris, MPJ, Millsap in a second. Ooh, I would give up MPJ for Beal. I don't know if I would give up MPJ for Porzingis. Both have injury history, but that's a tough one. That's really a tough one. Next up, we have Duncan Robinson, Goran Dragic, Olynyk, and a first. Yeah, the Mavs would probably not accept that, even though they're getting arguably like the 3rd best 3-point shooter in the league. Celtics, yeah, we kind of already talked about the Celtics one. They wouldn't really need to throw in the exception if they're giving up Kemba Walker, who makes more money than Kristaps Porzingis. So let's see. Do we have any new teams? Okay, Sixers one. Thibault, Seth Curry, and a first. Yeah, I don't think the Mavericks would accept that. Porzingis, I mean, like, maybe they would want Tobias Harris if we're really trying to get into that. Like, the Knicks would be interesting. Like, it would never happen. Like, the Knicks would never trade for Kristaps. And maybe, like, the Mavericks would never trade Kristaps back to the Knicks. But, like, what would, like, a Mitchell Robinson, Emmanuel Quickly, and the Mavericks first back look like? It's probably a lot, but I'm just trying to intrigue a lineup of, like, I guess it would be, like, D. Rose, R.J. Barrett, Alec Burks, Randall, and Porzingis. I don't even know if I would want that if I was the Knicks. Maybe that would just not work for either team. Heat, Cavs here. We have Mavs get Shamet, Bruce Brown, and Allen. Nets get Drummond. Cavs get... I mean, I'm sure the Cavs would like... And 3 first? Okay. Okay, what? How are they even getting that done? Okay, never mind. All right. Any new teams? Pacers, Porzingis, and Josh Green for Miles Turner and Karis LeVert. Ooh, I don't think I think the Mavericks would probably do that trade. They probably would, but I don't think the Pacers do that trade. Okay, kind of teams we've already talked about before. Bulls, Powell and Porzingis. Mavs receive Otto Porter, Wendell Carter, and a Bulls top 5 protected first this year. Probably not like what the Mavs would want. They'd probably want Markkanen instead of Wendell Carter. But maybe they would ask for Wendell Carter and Markkanen. And honestly, I'd think about that if you're Chicago. Because you'll have cap space. You can have Kobe White, Levine, Patrick Williams, Kristaps, and then you figure out your other front court guy in free agency or the offseason. Not a bad idea. Or the draft. But that happens if you give up the pick. Porzingis to the Jazz for Bogdanovich, Favors, and a first-round pick. Honestly, like if I'm Utah, I'm doing that trade. Oh my God! Imagine you had KP and Gobert. I just don't know if Dallas would want Bogdanovich and Favors. I just don't really think it's good enough return for what they want to do around Luka. And then we have a Grizzlies one. So Mavs get Clark, Winslow, Brooks, 2 firsts and a second, and also intriguing offer. Oh my God, I would love Jaren Jackson Jr. and KP in your front court. I mean, not a great rebounding front court, but still like a great shot blocking front court. But I don't know if the Mavs would do that, but it is a great offer. It really is. Maybe they want Desmond Bane for shooting in that deal, as well as Brooks instead of like Justice Winslow. Like, I don't really know if any team wants Justice Winslow at this point. Porzingis to the Raptors for Lowry, Terrence Davis, and a first. I don't think the Mavs accept that. This one is interesting. I meant to say D'Lo when I was mentioning the Timberwolves before, but like a D'Lo and like a future first for Porzingis. Honestly, you're rolling out a Rubio, Edwards. I guess figure out your 3. Beasley. Yeah, Rubio, Edwards, Beasley, Porzingis, Towns starting 5. Yeah, that's a lot better than I think D'Lo, Edwards, Beasley, Hernan Gomez, Towns. I actually would do that. If I'm Dallas, honestly, it's like what you value on D'Angelo Russell. So if they like him, yeah, maybe do it. If they don't, then don't do it. Porzingis to the Raptors for Van Vliet. An intriguing deal, but I don't think Toronto would accept that. And yeah, that's pretty much every team. Like I went through like another 50 comments, and yeah, those were all the teams that were mentioned. The Warriors were mentioned a lot. The Rockets were mentioned. The Celtics were mentioned. I do like the idea, and like the Kings were mentioned a couple times as well. I think I do like a Timberwolves trade. I think that's one of my favorites. I think the Hornets could definitely get something done and actually make a play for KP. But let me know what you guys think the Mavericks should do. Should they trade KP? Should they not? And what offer do you think they could accept and want to do? But yeah, that is it for me. Thank you all for watching. Drop a like if you guys did enjoy and you like these like trading idea videos, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.